Namaskar, everybody. It is a pleasure and a privilege to talk on the topic of Dhyana and Samadhi in Kriya Yoga, a modern scientific and medical perspective. I'm going to start my talk today with covering some of the basic topics on this really interesting subject. I'm going to introduce what is Kriya Yoga. I'm going to talk a little bit about the background of Nath Sampradaya, which is supposed to be the founding principles of Kriya Yoga. I'm going to talk of yoga in the light of Kriya Yoga. I'm going to talk about the science of Kriya Yoga. And then we are also going to talk about the science of brain and meditation, the powers, the miracles, and everything that we get to see in people practicing Kriya Yoga. So Kriya Yoga is started by Mahavatar Babaji, who is supposed to be Gorakhnath. Gorakhnath is one of the founding fathers of the Nath Sampradaya. So the Nath Sampradaya is a powerful sect of sannyasis in North India. The Nath was started by Matsyendra Nath, and after Matsyendra Nath, his disciple is Gorakhnath. Matsyendra Nath is supposed to be the disciple of Adi Yogi, which, as all of you know, is Shiva himself. So that's the history. So Matsyendra Nath, then Gorakhnath, and there are 9 other powerful sannyasis. But it was Gorakhnath who first systematized Hatha Yoga, and Mahavatar Babaji, the founding father of Kriya Yoga, is supposed to be none other than Gorakhnath. Let's talk a little bit now on what is Kriya Yoga? What is the path of Kriya Yoga? So Kriya Yoga is a powerful esoteric practice which claims its descendant from Shiva himself, or the Adi Yogi. Matsyendra Nath, the guru of Gorakhnath, who is the founder of Kriya Yoga, is a Nath sannyasi and is directly initiated by none other than Shiva. So it is a system where there is hidden or inner knowledge, and the reason is hidden is not because it wants to hide it from other people, but because you need higher level of power, a more powerful brain, a more purified body that only comes with multiple births to be a Kriya Yogi. Kriya Yoga is not a form which could be taken or practiced by the weak heart and the weak brain. So of course it needs many years, many rebirths till you have enough vibration, you have enough powerful brain, you have enough purified body that you can take Kriya Yoga and understand Kriya Yoga. So most of powerful Kriya Yoga practices have shown miracles and transformative rituals. The so-called miracles are actually not miracles at all, because when you exist on higher energy, there are a lot of things that you can do which you cannot do, or a normal human being cannot do. They call it miracle because it seems like miracle, but it is just a normal functioning at a higher energy level. We have to understand that the entire universe, the universe we see, is just a manifestation of energy or Shakti. And similarly, there are higher and higher level of existence with higher frequency. And each of those higher frequency itself has multiverses. So the play in this universe is of energy, and that's what Kriya Yoga does. Kriya Yoga takes you to that higher level of existence. So the practice of Kriya, many people possess siddhis. Siddhis include flying, invisibility, immortality. Immortality does not mean you keep your body forever, but you exist in your subtle body. Mahavatar Babaji is still available in his subtle body, and he has been known to visit multiple Kriya Yogis over time. And there are both historical evidences of him coming, talking, interacting with his disciples. The esoteric body is nothing else but the subtle or the energy body that all of us have. But when this body can be maintained, because as you know, the physical body follows time, and everything that follows time will ultimately be broken and dissipated. So human body cannot live forever. But if you are in the subtle body has got no time. It is beyond time, and therefore can be kept for thousands of years. The core of Kriya Yoga is the human body is a microcosm reflecting the universe. So the fundamental belief is you're one and equal to the universe. So what it does is change the human body or take the human body to next level of existence where you're one with the universe. And since you're one with the universe, you tend to get power that looks like miracle because your wish is the wish of the universe. There's an old saying that it's like a child crying to the mother bends its back to help the child and prevent it from crying. So if you are that rishi, if you are that kriya yogi who is crying to the mother, the universe will bend its back to make things happen. And that's why things like miracle happen. It is not miracle, it is higher energy coming into play. So of course the process of kriya yoga includes control of and sublimation of sexual energy for spiritual elevation and higher consciousness. That does not mean that kriya yoga is only for monks. Babaji introduced Kriya Yoga because Kriya Yoga is a form of yogic practices which married people can do and reach the same end as any yogis. If you look at the hierarchy of Kriya Yoga, there are both married people living a normal life as well as yogis. Babaji obviously is a yogi, he's a Mahayogi. Babaji's main disciple, as we know, is Shamacharan Lahiri, who is a married person, had multiple children. Shamacharan Lahiri's disciple is Yukteswar Giri, and Yukteswar Giri again was married, had a daughter, but became a sannyasi after his wife died. My guru and Paramahansa Yogananda are disciples of Yukteswar Giri, and both of them are monks and they never married. There are hundreds of such people who are simple householders but extremely powerful, who just by seeing them you'll never know they are Kriya Yogis. That's why Kriya Yoga is said to be the best path for this Kali Yuga, because a person who's married, has a family, has a duty at home, needs to bring up children, needs to work for the family, needs to give back to this world, can do everything, and despite that reach the highest level of spirituality as enunciated in the Vedas and Upanishads. So Kriya Yoga basically transforms the normal material body to a body of higher existence by spiritual transformation. We'll talk about this, how divine energies are infiltrated into the human body to get the next level of power, to get the next level of existence. The reason for getting to the next level is not that you can be powerful and show people what you can do. In fact, there is a story that once Mahavatar Babaji had told Shamacharan Lahiri that whenever he calls, Babaji will appear. So one day after meditation, Shamacharan Lahiri met a bunch of his friends and he talked about Babaji, and they laughed him off and said, "You're psychiatric, you're crazy, nothing like that exists." So then he called for Babaji and Babaji appeared, and he told Babaji that these are my friends. They did not believe in your existence. I want them to show who you are. Babaji did as Shamacharan Lahiri said, but then Babaji told Shamacharan Lahiri that never ever will he come after that if he is called by Shamacharan Lahiri. So this is important to understand. The reason to get power, the reason to get higher level of existence is not that so that you can have samadhi and you can stay happy the rest of your existence till there is the next dissipation of the universe or laya. The reason of getting higher energy is to help people, be with the people, be one with the universe, help those who are suffering. So the excess power that you get is not meant for you to show off that power, but to use the power to bring goodness to the universe. The hundreds and thousands of people who are suffering out there, if they could be helped, you will be the highest God on earth. That is the story of Kriya Yoga. That is the main understanding of Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga uses mantras, and there are mystical sounds which are used. These comes with years of practice of meditation. And when you are very powerful, even as a Kriya Yogi, whatever you see, whatever you want, whatever you say, that automatically happens. As I said, with increase of your energy, you become one with the universe. So whatever you say, the universe says that, and that's bound to happen. There's nobody on earth who can prevent that. The mind becomes the esoteric mind, or unman, or no mind at all, because mind is part of the physical body. When you're part of the universe, when you're part of eternity, mind that as a human body has got no role. Normally, most of us think about mind and use our mind with hundreds and thousands of thoughts. When will I get a promotion? How can I have a bigger house than him? The problem is these mundane things have no meaning in the universe. These are things that you can get anytime you want when you have the universe with you. But the question is, all of us come naked to this world, we go naked. So having a lot of car, money, house basically makes no business. And the sad part is that if mother is ready to give you everything, why will you go and ask her for a better house or a better job? She has the whole universe for you. You're practicing something that is part of Shiva, and Shiva has created Shakti, which is the existence of this universe. So that's the concept in Kriya Yoga. That's the path of Kriya Yoga. So Kriya Yoga has deep influence from different parts, particularly from Buddhism. The core philosophy of Buddhism and Hinduism, as you know, is quite similar, though Buddhism doesn't believe in the existence of God. Hinduism does. But Advaita Vedanta, that is the core of Kriya Yoga, and lots of concepts of Buddhism come together. And I'd like to point out here that Buddha, as you know, did not create any different religion. Buddhism as a religion was created 400 years after Buddha died. All that Buddha wanted to do was that he wanted to change the ritualistic and the different rituals that has entered into Hinduism, which was damaging Hinduism. But it was Adi Shankara who resuscitated Hinduism back after years of after Buddha left this world, and created a powerful religion of Advaita Vedanta, which even today there are some of the topmost American. They believe in Advaita Vedanta. No religion in the world is that democratic as Advaita Vedanta. There are multiple Abrahamical religion which has got prophets and gods, but Advaita Vedanta makes it very clear. If I have a God, then my question is, who is the father of that God? So Advaita Vedanta has for thousands of years flourished, and today some of the topmost brain in the universe believe in Advaita Vedanta. Going back to Kriya Yoga, it's a holistic spiritual practice focusing on self-realization and spiritual evolution. The human experience is perceived as constrained by the limitation of our physical bodies and the material world. I can see between 350 to 750 hertz. That is the wavelength of human vision. But there can be people much on higher vibration. I'll not be able to see them. Similarly, I can hear sound between 20 to 20,000 decibels. Even a dog, which is much lower in evolution than us, can hear sound less than 20 decibels. So it's important to understand that this material body has been created with limited resources, because the job of the material body is to live on earth, reproduce if we want, and live a successful life. But we can use this material body to reach the Godhead. And that is why our rishis and munis have always said that human birth is a blessing and we should not be wasting it. So look at the gurus of Kriya Yoga. This is Mahavatar Babaji with the Kundalini inscribed in his body to show the power centers of the body. His direct disciple is Lahiri Baba, who lived in Benares. His house is still existent in Benares. He was a household holder, had multiple children. Almost most of them have never married and have become sannyasis, but he is a married man. Yukteswar Giri became a sannyasi after his wife died, but he was initially a married person and had a daughter. Yukteswar Giri is the direct disciple of is the guru of Paramahansa Yogananda. possibly the most powerful Hindu figure in the West after Swami Vivekananda. After Swami Vivekananda introduced Hinduism in the West, today the most powerful race, the most powerful group are American Indians, whether being leaders of IT, being the leaders of business, being the leaders of medical field, they're all Indians. And here in the US, and the person who introduced that is, of course, Swami Vivekananda. And the person who spread it and helped in the spread is Paramahansa Yogananda. A nice story about Paramahansa Yogananda is that Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, had only one book in his uh, iPad, and that is the book of Paramahansa Yogananda called The Autobiography of a Yogi. My guru is Swami Hariharananda Giri. Hariharananda Giri is a brother disciple of Yukteswar Giri and a brother disciple of Paramahansa Yogananda and a direct disciple of Yukteswar Giri. This is my guru at 86 years of age. You can see the power, the glow that comes from practicing Kriya Yoga. He reached his first Samadhi at the age of 40. By profession, he was a textile engineer who became a sannyasi after passing textile engineering. So, unlike what you see today, a lot of people, because of family problem, poverty, land up in a ashram, and after 50 years, they claim themselves to be great sadhus. But this is the example that Swami Vivekananda gave, and Swami Vivekananda himself showed that he had everything, but till he took sannyas. So that's the prime example of sannyasi in India, and that's what my guru Swami Hariharananda Giri is. So as we know, there are three bodies. Body which we all know about is a physical body, and then we have a subtle body, and then we have the soul or the causal body, and these bodies can be divided into different kosha. I'll not go into that discussion now, but it is important to understand that these three bodies are important while understanding the philosophy and science behind Kriya Yoga. So Kriya Yoga, remember, is a yogic discipline, and it is no other than Gorakhnath or possibly Mahavatar Babaji in his another form who standardized Hatha Yoga, the physical yoga system that can also lead to samadhi. So the first step of that, like any yoga, is yama, or following certain ethical disciplines. Kriya Yoga is exactly the same, but the reason is whenever you have harm, either in your thoughts or in your words or in your action, that decreases your vibration, that dissipates the energy that we need to reach the Godhead. Therefore, it is very important that we practice non-violence in the true sense of the term. Truthfulness is very important, being honest and truthful, acknowledging our perceptions and belief only helps us to live in the sattva state. If we are not in the sattva state, if our state is not purified, the mind is not purified, the mind will be loaded with hundreds and thousands of thoughts, good thoughts, bad thoughts, some between thoughts between good and bad. No thoughts is good, because the mind should be one pointed to reach the Godhead. Then there is non-stealing, then there is brahmacharya, which is moderation. Kriya Yoga, as I said, has multiple people who are extremely powerful, some of them whose name also we do not know, but they are married people, had family, took care of family, and then went to become very powerful yogis. So it doesn't say that as a family man you cannot have sex, but moderation in sex is very important, because that controls the virya, or the prime energy, which cannot be wasted if you want to reach the highest echelons of Godhead, which Kriya Yoga can take you with appropriate practice. And then there should be non-possessiveness. Just be happy with what you have, instead of wanting more and more. As I said, all of us come naked to this world, we go naked. We cannot take any of our material belongings. So clinging for more and more material belongings does not make sense. And that's true for any spiritual science, and certainly for Kriya Yoga. So niyama are the observances that we have to do for sattvic lifestyle. So you need to have purity, and there's cleansing of the mind, cleansing of the body to foster a pure and uncluttered environment. You should be content. You should be always happy. In fact, if you practice Kriya Yoga within 2 to 3 weeks, you will see happiness. You're always happy. There's always a smile on your face because the happiness comes from outside. There is no cosmetic in the world that can make your face so bright and glowing as you saw the face of my guru, because the cosmetics do not work only on the skin, but the skin gets better not with cosmetics but with your inner glow. Your entire skin will glow, your face will glow. That's what Kriya Yoga is all about. You have to have discipline in your life. Cultivating self-discipline and willpower, readiness to endure hardship for personal growth is very important, because it is your strive to reach the Godhead will take you to the Godhead. As Swami Vivekananda said, if you want something, let every blood vessel of your body know about it. Let every blood cell of your body know about it. Even the highest power in the universe, be it Narayan itself, cannot prevent you from getting that. Human being is so powerful. It is sad that despite having so much power, so much energy, we think we are poor people. God has given us all this trouble. There's no God who's sitting there on a Sunday to give you all the trouble. All the trouble that comes to you is from your own existence, from your previous birth, from the lack of purity, from the lack of discipline, from the lack of self-study, understanding of the world, understanding basic spiritual norms. So this is very important, and most importantly, there should be compassion, love for people. There should be gratitude. Be happy that the universe has given you everything that you need. Don't forget, there are thousands out there who are begging in the street, cannot cover their head despite having burning sun or massive rains. So we have to show that gratitude. We have to show that compassion. Compassion for everything in the universe, whether it is a snake, whether it is a lizard. Don't hit it, don't kill it. No animal in this world is worse than human beings. We are the most violent animal. We are the only ones who kill other animal without being attacked. Even a cobra will not touch you if you're not going near it and if it's not threatened by you. It is the human being who unnecessarily will kill other people. And that is what is wrong in spirituality. The next step of yoga and Kriya Yoga is asana. But the practice of asana or hatha yoga is essential to have a powerful body, and this powerful body will prevent you from aging fast, will help you sitting down in meditation for hours, and that's why it is. Unfortunately, in India, what has happened is people have forgotten the rest of yoga, and people think asana is the only important thing in yoga now. Asana is 5 to 10% of yoga, though it's equally important like all the other steps of yoga. But it's to give a physically strong body, prevent from diseases like dementia, decreases aging, prevents cardiovascular disease, prevents cancer, and more importantly, it makes your body flexible, strong, so that you can be a powerful yogi and practice meditation. Pranayama is modulating the breath. It is a technique to regulate and control breath to increase the life force or prana within the body. Specialized yogic techniques taught in Kriya actually can activate the chakras to prepare humans to understand higher dimension. Pranayama is not as you think, it is about breath. And indeed, it has very little to do with breath. I did not say that. Swami Vivekananda said this. Because people commonly believe pranayama is breath. It has nothing to do with breath. It is an exercise to control your prana or the force or the energy. Once you can control the energy within your body, you can control the energy of the universe, because they are one. They are part and parcel of the same. So Kriya Yoga involves practices aimed at awakening the Kundalini energy, believed to reside at the base of the spine, and it ascends through the chakras. And if you practice Kriya Yoga, You will be able to see each and every chakras, feel their vibration. What it also does, it causes neuroendocrine activation. The concept of Kundalini is supposed to activate the neurohumoral activation of the body, resulting in a more powerful brain, a stress-free existence. It decreases aging. It also decreases sympathetic drive and increases parasympathetic drive, which is responsible for giving you santosha or contentment or even bliss. It releases chemicals inside your brain that gets you bliss. So now we have medical proof of some of these, the power of meditation. It also activates the endocrine system to release hormones that makes you more powerful than what you really are. Not only that, it also helps in preventing a large number of diseases. So the concept of the energy body or the subtle body is integral to many yogic tradition and certainly to Kriya Yoga. The basis of Kriya Yoga is to activate the energy body in your spine so that you can activate take your physical body to a higher dimension. And there are many sannyasis who are living 200, 300, 400 years meditating with their subtle body without having a physical body, because physical body, even if belongs to God himself, will ultimately die and decay. Nothing that is material can live forever. But the subtle body or the energy body is the one which does. So the energy body basically consists of what we call the energy channels or nari, and there are supposed to be 72,000 naris all over the body. In the next slide, we'll talk a little more about that. But basically, there are three nadis which are most important. The core of the spinal cord has an opening through which CSF flows, and that is where the Sushumna Nadi is. On the two sides of the Sushumna Nadi lives the Ida and the Pingla, the two other nadis. 90% of us breathe through the Ida or Pingla. But when you start practicing Kriya, after weeks, you'll see that your breath comes through the Sushumna Nadi, and that's what raises your energy level. It pulls up the Kundalini, which lies at the Muladhara, at the base of the brain, to your highest point, which is 1,000-petal lotus on top of your head. That is called the Sahasrara. And there are even finer nadis inside the Sushumna, which you get to see after years of practice of Kriya Yoga. And that's the basic strategy in Kriya Yoga, to use breathing techniques to take yourself to the next level of existence. So Nadi, as I said, is an important concept in Hindu philosophy, not peculiar to Kriya Yoga only. And as I said, most of Kriya Yoga is akin to what Hindu philosophy is, and the concepts in Upanishads are. It is not different from them, only it has used, Babaji has come out with a technique that can propel you to massive power and a massive powerful existence, being one with the universe. Because if you practice Kriya, one Kriya equals the amount of energy we have if we live on earth for one full year. What does that mean? So if you understand the Hindu philosophy, we all take multiple births. Why do we take multiple births? So that we can experience everything and gather enough energy so we can stop taking birth on earth. Once you reach Nirvikalpa Samadhi, there are very few days you can live on earth, because earth exists in lower plane. It has got coarse vibration. But when your vibration gets finer and finer, you cannot be living a normal life on earth. Say somebody like Sri Ramakrishna, that amount of power, it is not possible to live on earth forever. So, or Swami Vivekananda, he gave up his body at much younger age. Or even Adi Shankara, at 32 years of age, he gave up his body, because once you become one with Shiva, or once your power is so high that you cannot exist anymore in this material universe. So this power comes from the activation of the Naris, and there are 72,000 Naris commonly believed, though Siva Samhita says there are over 350,000 Naris. It is important to understand these nadis are not blood vessels, these are not nerves, these are not lymphatic channels which you see in the material body. A lot of people think that these are those blood vessels, lymph nodes, or nerve cells. No, they are not. They are energy channels that does not exist in the physical body. They exist in an ethereal body or in a subtle body. So, um, but it can be activated, it can be seen, it can be felt. The vibration can be felt as you practice Kriya Yoga and you activate activate the Kundalini, forcing it to rise up in your spinal cord, from the lowest part of your spinal cord called the Muladhara to the highest part of your spinal cord, that is the thousand petal lotus inside your brain. Actually, it protrudes out of your brain, and you can see it or feel it when you're in deep meditation doing Kriya Yoga. So it's important to understand the concept of chakras in Kriya Yoga. So these are vortices of the subtle body and the meeting point of various nadis. So they are really not lotuses. They're nothing to do with lotus. They appear like wilted lotus when they are not activated, and when they are activated, they turn upwards just like a lotus. But they are indeed quite different from what typically a lotus, the flower lotus, is. Because they look similar, that's why they are called lotus. But these are nothing but nadis coming together at different junctions. And these junctions are 7 inside the body. There are multiple smaller chakras which are less important, but the basic spinal cord has got 7 such chakras. And each of those chakras also correspond to neural network inside the body. That's how we believe that activation of the chakras activates the network, the blood, the nerve, the hormone, the neuroendocrine network in the body, making sure that the body is also powerful, the physical body is also disease-free, and thus help to take you in the next level or the next paradigm of existence. Kriya meditation involves focusing energy and attention on these chakras. And as you do that, you activate the chakras. The basic concept is that wherever your thought is and your breath is, that's where that part of the body gets activated. The scientific basis is that we now know that these meditation techniques activate neuroendocrine system. It gives you a more powerful brain. The neurons are created inside your brain that prevents you from getting stressed. Hormones are released both in your physical body, and neurotransmitters are released inside your brain when you're in deep meditation. That completely changes the morphology of the brain and the body. That's why we have the rishis who are 95, 100 years old, but they are 40. With this concept has come the new concept in medicine, which is called chronological aging and biological aging. It's yoga or Kriya Yoga which has brought such concept. What is chronological aging? If you're born 100 years back, you're 100 years old. That's your chronological age. But with practice of Kriya Yoga, now we know if you practice for 5 years, you can grow your brain. You can get younger by maybe 10 years or 12 years. So what do you mean by getting younger? Getting younger means that biologically you're younger. So though chronologically you're 100 years old, but biologically your body is as fit as a 40-year-old man. So where a 40-year-old man cannot jump and run up the mountains in the Himalayas, a 100-year-old monk or rishi can do it, because though he's 100-year-old chronologically, but actually his body as fit as a 40-year-old. There's nothing miraculous about this. It's what you do to the body. Most of us ravage our body with sexual thought, with greed and other things. So the body is ravaged by dangerous hormones that are released every day, causing dangerous chemicals which cause heart disease, diabetes, blood pressure, blood sugar, cancer. But if you can completely control your mind and control your thought, your body becomes more purified. All this dangerous chemical stops coming out, and you create a powerful body, which is extremely powerful, at the same time extremely healthy. You automatically start getting younger, because that's the nature of the universe. We age because we don't take care of our body. All these bad thoughts, all the bad work, all the bad stress, decreases aging, makes us older at a younger age, which we can prevent. It's as simple as a car. You have a car, you take care of it, you fill in the oil on a regular basis, you clean it, it'll take you 200,000 kilometers. But the same car, you don't take care of it, by 20,000, after 20,000 kilometers, it'll be a wreck. And you either have to get a new car or go for massive repairs. So we have to remember that human body is just a car that God has given us to reach from place A at our birth to the place B, which is Godhead. So we can use this car all our life with stress, fighting for more money, for more of everything, or we can fight to reach the Godhead. And according to what our fight will be, we will get that sort of the body. A body that is sick with cancer, heart disease due to stress, or a powerful body which, even being 100 or 125 years old, is as young as 40 or 50-year-old, um, without any disease. So that's our choice, and that transformative potential comes from the practice of Kriya Yoga. So the energy channels and subtle anatomy that I talked about produces electromagnetic field, powerful electromagnetic. The whole universe is an electromagnet. And you have higher and higher level of existence. There are supposed to be 7 lokas above us. Each of the lokas are nothing but higher and higher level of existence and higher level of energy in those existence. Each of those higher level, just like our level, there are multiverses. Each of those level, they have multiverses. So you can understand how powerful this universe is. And we, with the physical body, are very restricted in our understanding of this universe, in our experience of this universe. But God or nature has given us the capacity to go to that level, where we can understand the universe. Because remember, we are part and parcel of the universe. We are the child of that mother, which is the universe. So mother cannot live without the child, just the child cannot live without the mother. The problem is the child sometimes forgets the mother and is busy playing with small toys. So we have all been playing with toys, and we forget our own mother, we forget our own creation, we forget to understand who we are. And that's what Kriya Yoga helps you to do. The next step is Pratihara, or sense withdrawal. So we are like our body, our mind, is like a magnet. We love getting attached to things in this world, whether it is money, whether it is greed, whether it is power, whether it is ego, whether it is sex. So it's like a magnet. We love getting involved in everything. The smallest activation comes from some part of the physical existence, we are running after it. So Pratihara is the practice in Kriya Yoga that helps us to keep our mind in one place, prevent it from getting dissipated amongst all this greed that the material is full of. After that, we have Dhyana, Dharana, and Dhyana. Dharana is, of course, concentration, or mindfulness, as we know it. That is the nearest English for that. But basically, this is a process where you try to internalize your thoughts, internalize your mind, so that it leads to meditation or dhyana, where you will have a continuous flow of concentration, leading to a state of deep contemplation, a thoughtless state, samadhi itself, which leads to samadhi, which is the last state. While out of the Ashtanga Yoga, there are 8 uh, parts of Ashtanga Yoga, but to me, there are actually 7 things to do, and the 8th part of samadhi is a state of existence. So doing these 7 things takes you to the 8th of the samadhi stage. Samadhi itself is of different level, and we'll keep that discussion for another day. So science of Kriya Yoga, basically it focuses on systemic control of breath, energy, and mind to achieve spiritual awakening. That is the core. You start activating each of the chakras, as you can see. You start from Muladhara, go to Sadhisthana, go to Manipura, go to Anahata, go to Agya Chakra, and then you reach the Sahasrara. And in this activation process, you activate each and every one of the chakras so that they vibrate. and your whole material body starts vibrating into a higher existence. Your brain condenses into a single laser point, and that's the practice of Kriya Yoga. The breath control is the core practice of Kriya Yoga. Pranayama is the cornerstone of Kriya Yoga. It involves specific breathing techniques to regulate the flow of prana or the life force. Scientific studies have shown multiple benefits of breath control, starting, as I said, from decreased aging, preventing cardiovascular disease, preventing cancer, increasing your brain power, increasing the size of your brain. So, as we grow old, we have dementia. You'll never ever have dementia. Plus, there is super oxygenation of the body, and I'll talk about that in a future slide. So there's super oxygenation of the body, and carbon dioxide and other gases, which are excretory products, are completely released from the body. I love to talk of a story here. It's not a story, it is a real life experience. So once I was traveling with my guru to Raurkela when I was in initial years of my medical school, and he was seated in a chair at Shialda station. We were waiting for the train. I noticed a speck of blood coming out from his big toe because his nail has bitten in to the tissue of the big toe and the blood. So this is, now being a doctor, I know that it's a venous blood. So most of our venous blood, as we know, is black in color. I'm a cardiologist who goes inside people's heart. I've seen thousands of people. I've gone inside their heart. I've seen their blood inside their heart. So the blood inside the heart, that is the venous blood, is pretty dark. It's like black tar in many people. But for the first time and the only time, I saw venous blood in my guru, bright red. It was so red that initially I thought it was something else. I do not know. Many of you must have seen old Hindi movies where the blood looks like ketchup we use while eating things. So that amount of brightness, from seeing the blood, you know that this is false. That the show in the movies, you know this is false. This cannot be real blood. They must be using something like red ketchup to show that it is blood in movies. But that is the actual color of the blood I saw in his veins coming out from his toe. So you can understand what level of oxygenation is needed, that even the venous blood, which is black, tarry in color, becomes bright red, even brighter than 99% of our oxygenated arterial blood. Oxygenated arterial blood is more redder than the venous blood. But leave alone oxygenated arterial blood, this was a venous blood which was more red and bright due to oxygenation and lack of carbon dioxide than even a normal person's arterial blood. So I tell this story to everybody that that's what Kriya Yoga does. It takes your entire body into a different level of existence. The autonomic nervous system, which makes us an animal, has things called sympathetic and parasympathetic. Most of us live in sympathetic, so we are jealous, we are stressful, we are fight, we are always striving to do more, take from others. This can be replaced to the monk's nerve, which is the parasympathetic nerve, where you're calm, cool, and in samadhi. So that's what Kriya Yoga does. It stops the parasympathetic drive and it increases sympathetic drive. Heart rate variability, which is one of the mark of parasympathetic drive as well as a mark of healthy heart, is increased with Kriya Yoga practice. So all that I've discussed till now is about the human body, but let me talk about a little bit about the understanding of the universe based on core Hindu philosophy. So the universe is an endless field of possibilities, and you're part of that endless field. Yes, you heard me right. You are part of the endless field. That's why, as Swami Vivekananda said, there's nothing in the universe you cannot do because you are eternally powerful. The problem is we see our physical body, which is extremely limited, and we think this is all that we have. Unfortunately, that is not true. That's how the Maya or the virtual reality fools us. We have to go beyond this Maya. We have to go beyond this virtual reality to understand the truth of the universe. So assessing the power of the universe is possible through Kriya Yoga by activating your subtle body. by increasing the power of your material body so that you can go past the different restrictions that your material body has as far as hearing things, listening to things, seeing things. Your experience is widened like a broad band when you practice Kriya Yoga. So, with this understanding of the universe, it is important to understand that this energy play of the universe, the material world that we see, stars, planets, are nothing but energy condensed, having low vibration, so they appear as material. We have low vibration, so we appear as material. But the body inside us, the subtle body inside us, is the same energy body that the whole universe is. And that exists at a higher level. And that's why a surgeon who cuts into your body will not be able to see the energy body. All that he sees is the material body. But we know people, there are hundreds of study called near death experience where people were operated on, they died on the table and they were getting shocked and they could see everything from the top. So what came out of their body, what was their consciousness? So we, the modern science, believe the consciousness is caused by the brain. If the consciousness is caused by the brain, then if you're dead, how can you be conscious and seeing the doctors are fighting to save your physical body and you're floating on top of the operation theater and you can see your own body? So obviously consciousness is beyond the material body and beyond a human brain. Human brain is just a machinery to tap consciousness. Just like anything else, it's a small computer, but you have the power to make it bigger and bigger computer so that it understands universe. And that's what Sri Ramakrishna did to Vivekananda. When Vivekananda was constantly questioning Ramakrishna because he had no understanding of the universe, though he was a very, very powerful soul, possibly one of the Saptarishis himself. Vivekananda touched his brain and he felt that 40,000, 50,000 volt going across his brain, and he understood the truth of the universe. So it's all a game of a play of energy, and that energy you can activate with the blessings of all the gurus by the practice of Kriya Yoga. So the meditation technique that you get once you take Diksha in Kriya Yoga involves activation of this. When I got Kriya Yoga, it took my guru 1.5 hours and he was sweating. But unlike many other places, it's not just giving a mantra. He did give a mantra. I said, he asked me what my god or goddesses was. I said, I believe in infinite. So he gave me a mantra accordingly. But he said, but Kriya Yoga is not on mantra. Then what he did is he went ahead and activated each and every of my chakras. Each and every of my chakras was activated. That's what is called Kriya Yoga. Activation of Diksha in Kriya Yoga is completely different. You just don't get a mantra and you're done. They activate the chakras to show you the path, and that's why it's one of the most powerful paths known to mankind. So as you practice Kriya Yoga, there's a complete reconditioning of the body to become an oracle for infinite energy and power. Byron said, brain is the oracle of God. No, the whole body is the oracle of God. You have to bring that God inside you. And practice of Kriya Yoga elevates your body to that level so that God comes and resides with you. The new identity that you get comes from the fact that you understand the truth of the universe. Who are you? What is this universe? Why have you taken birth on this earth? Where do you go from here? Those gets clear as you practice Kriya Yoga. There are different energy centers, as I said, in the body, and pineal gland is one of the centers where you can go and meditate. As I said, the Sushumna breaks down into smaller nadis as you get inside the brain. There are Chitrini and other smaller, more finer nadis that comes with deeper breaths. So you can actually meditate on different parts of your brain, and the pineal gland is also one of the places where you can meditate to reach different levels of consciousness, enter different levels of samadhi. So this is the book that I talked about, Autobiography for Yogi. The founder of Apple, Steve Jobs, had this book in his iPad, the only book he carried in his iPad. And when he died, everybody, including the then President of United States of America, was given a copy of this book, those who attended his funeral. Extremely powerful book, which talks about the work of the power of Kriya Yoga, and where it comes from. As we all know, that there is a relation between Swami Vivekananda and Paramahansa Yogananda that shows the power of Swami Vivekananda. When Swami Vivekananda was giving his famous lecture in Chicago, a young boy saw him, and next day when he was sitting in the stage again, this young boy approached Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda saw him around 20-25 feet. The young boy did not even talk. But Swami Vivekananda, with his massive power, absorbed what thoughts he had and said, son, I'm not going to be your guru. Your guru is going to come and he'll teach you all these techniques, and he'll give you a silver cup. So this young man at that time, I think 11 years or 15 years of age, grew up. Many years passed. He was almost an old man. He was around 60, 65. And of course, he completely forgot that incident, because what Vivekananda said, he thought was not going to come true. It must be a philosophical thing. But somebody like Swami Vivekananda, who Shiva himself, will not be telling lies or not be telling untruth. When he was around 65 years of age, one fine day, Paramahansa Yogananda comes back from India, and he calls all his close disciples and he gives this gentleman a silver cup. So imagine the power of that man called Swami Vivekananda, that 50 years previously, a small incident, extremely small incident, nothing as big as creation of a star or destruction of a planet, a small incident like him, like a young boy getting a silver cup from his guru, he predicted. That shows the power of the human mind. So so it is important to understand that while we waste our brain thinking of small things, unwanted things, menial things, and run after the smallest pleasure, the universe is there to give you every pleasure on earth, because they belong to you. You're the owner. You're God himself. And this is an interesting story that I like to tell. So meditation in Kriya Yoga improves, just like anything, brain function. We do not have a lot of research in Kriya Yogis, because most of them are esoteric. They don't come out, they don't show their powers to anybody. In fact, most of the gurus who are outside showing their power has very little power. In fact, because the siddhis that you get through Kriya Yoga is not meant to show to others, is meant as for you to understand where you have reached so that you can go to the next level. But as you know, there are a lot of gurus together nowadays who have big mela, and they're increasing their followers, and they're giving talks everywhere, invited and uninvited, because the idea is that their idea is to either increase their following, or somebody has got a 200 million empire and they want to make it a 400 million empire. But that's not the goal of spirituality. So we know about meditation is that meditation improves brain structure and completely changes brain structure. Normally, we have something called beta waves in our brain, but monks have, but when we are resting, when you're in deep contemplation, we have alpha waves. But people who have been practicing many years, they have even slower waves like delta waves or theta waves. And people who are extremely powerful meditators, they can have a super powerful type of waves called the gamma waves. When the gamma waves were initially discovered in the meditators, people thought they were artifacts. They didn't even believe this was real. But then research using world's latest technique, going inside the brain using PET scan, MRI, and electroencephalogram showed that powerful meditators like Buddhist and Hindu monks who have meditated for 20, 30 years have powerful gamma waves, which now scientists believe is what the waves of consciousness. So these people, they understand consciousness. These people go beyond the normal brain of human beings, and that's why they have so-called miracle or extra powers. The brain changes, as I said, there's something called neuroplasticity. So within 4 weeks of practice of Kriya Yoga, you get a brand new brain. You stop getting stressful, you stop being anxious, you stop getting depressed. There's a complete change in brain. The moment you stop getting stressed, you stop having heart disease, you stop having diabetes. So if you're already diabetic, they get controlled. If you already have heart disease, you get cured, So the question is, it's all inside the brain, and brain creates the body. If you want to have a diseased body, you're most welcome. If you want to have the most powerful body in the universe, again, you are welcome. It's what you do gets you what you want. So meditation, as we know, even much less powerful types of meditation does a lot of good things. It improves your cognitive function. It causes neuroplasticity and increases the size of your brain. It reduces age-related stress. It improves cardiovascular health. People have known to be completely cured of high blood pressure on practice of meditation. It enhances your immune function. You'll never get any infection. It reduces inflammatory markers. So all the inflammatory diseases in the body are reduced. It can slow telomere shortening, thus improving aging. So you live longer. It improves mental health, causes better sleep quality, and of course, it increases longevity. So 5 years of meditation, as I said, increases the size of your brain. In the Western nations, as most of you might be knowing, and slowly we are finding that phenomena in India also, that as you get older, people start having dementia. In fact, one of my close friends' father had dementia. Problem is that in India, people die by the time they are 65, 70, 75 years old. So very few people live older than that. In America, almost 30-35% of people above 85 years of age have dementia to severe dementia. They don't remember who they are, who their son is, who their daughter is, where they live. And these people, unfortunately, are poorly treated because we do not have good drugs to treat dementia. But if you practice meditation, 5 years of meditation can increase the size of your brain by 1 inch. That was proved by Sarah Laser in 2010. In 25, she came out with her first paper, but 2010, one of our papers showed that. So it's important to understand that meditation actually makes you grow your brain, not only makes it anatomically powerful, that its size becomes bigger, but also physiologically it completely changes to a more powerful brain. Meditation also enhances cortical thickness. The most power center of your brain is the cortex, and that gets more powerful. Therefore, all your cognitive function, you're extremely powerful in your cognitive function. I'd like to tell a story of my guru here also. Later in his life, when I spoke to him, I never really spoke to him. I just had thoughts in my brain, and he would interpret it and talk back to me. The reason he talked back to me was, of course, because I could not interpret his thinking. I was not that powerful as he was. Neither am I that powerful even today. But it is his greatness that he could pick up my thoughts and answer my questions, which is so interesting. So, as I said, there are millions of studies that shows the power of meditation, the single-pointed focus that Kriya Yoga brings. It is said once you're the controller of the microcosm, you become the controller of the macrocosm. The moment you develop one point, single pointedness, either on your anahata sabd, that is the anahata sound coming from anahata, or on your breath. It doesn't matter whether you're walking in a street in New York with 50,000 taxis honking behind you, or you're sitting in your meditation prayer room and praying, or you're sitting in a temple and praying. It is the concept of single pointedness. As long as you're single pointed, you're the master, you become the master of the body as well as the master of the universe. So there are different changes in the brain center that we know of. The highest brain center completely changes. The amygdala or hypothalamus, which is the core of the brain that we share with all the animals on earth, whether it's a reptile, even dinosaurs have that. So that's the center of the brain that brings negative thought and emotion. In people who are monks, you find the amygdala has grown smaller and smaller and smaller because emotion don't play a role in their brain. They have completely controlled emotion. That doesn't mean that it's not that you become a rock, you stop being human. No, you're actually superhuman. You have super compassion, you have super gratitude. You love every being in this universe, not only every other human being, but every being in this universe. But negative emotion, attraction to negative greed, those are stopped. So that's the positiveness of single pointedness. As I talked about superoxygenation, Kriya Yoga causes superoxygenation. I told you about the blood in my guru. His venous blood was more bright red than arterial blood. And I have seen arterial blood inside people's heart, but and or in people's heart, but no blood is as bright as that blood that I have seen. It almost appeared that he really did not have a blood, but a red paint that somebody painted in case rather than a normal blood of a human being. So those superoxygenation, I guess, changes the paradigm of your existence. And the different miracles that we see, being in 2 to 3 places at one time, going from one place to another, possibly comes with this higher level of existence where your material body itself vibrates at a much higher energy, allowing you to do things which a common man thinks of as miracle. When I think of these, I remember one word that Swami Vivekananda had said: logic and causations are windows to the absolute. Once inside the absolute, there is no logic, there is no causation. In the grand web of existence, every particle, every being is intrinsically connected. Everything is connected with each other. Nothing is not connected. So, and today we know that Einstein had said that the fastest connection between one star and the other star is the speed of light. But when Niels Bohr came with quantum physics, he said, no, that is wrong. Exactly as Vivekananda said, everything in this earth, everything in this universe is connected to it. You do not need a third medium. So Einstein was proved wrong. And we now know something called entanglement. So one electron in this part of the universe can connect with another electron at the other end of the universe instantaneously. It does not require any light or any sound, as Einstein proposed. And you know, 3 people got Nobel Prize last year to prove Einstein wrong. So Vivekananda, a monk, a philosopher, 100, 200 years back had said that every particle in this existence can connect with another. When he said that, people took it with a grain of salt, thinking this is a philosopher's word. It cannot be scientifically true. It did not take more than 100 years for science to reach the same conclusion, that indeed every particle in this universe are entangled, and when they are entangled, they can connect with each other. You do not need light or any third source to connect or send communication between them. So Swami Sivananda, who you know is a 125 years old, Padma Shri awardee last year, still practices yoga, lives in Benares, walks miles every day, practices yoga on the banks of river Ganges. He's 125. People by the time they are 70, 75, they are handicapped, they cannot walk, they cannot talk, they have problems of gout or osteoarthritis, they have had multiple heart attacks, they're bogged down with cancer. So this is the power of Kriya Yoga. And there are Kriya Yogis who are 200, 250 years old. And that's a miracle, yes, but again, nothing is miracle in the universe. It is just a higher possibility. It's a possibility that is rare on this material earth, but it is a possibility. We have written the world's first book on the use of yoga to treat cardiovascular disease. This has been written by over 75 authors from all over the world, including Harvard Medical School, Emory, PGI Chandigarh, All Indian Institute of Medical Sciences, and NIMHANS. And please read this book. It brings the science of yoga. Yoga is completely scientific. It is sad that we have gurus in the world today who are neither spiritually enlightened like Swami Vivekananda or Sri Sri Ramakrishna, nor do they have any formal education. So they spiel all nonsense about yoga. Yoga is completely scientific. The only part of the yoga like the miracles which are non-scientific, because science has not progressed that far. It will take maybe 100, 200 years for science to uncover that. But everything that yoga has said, everything that Hindu philosophy has said is going to be true. It might take another century to prove that. If Vivekananda was proved to within 100 years, science developed so fast, then everything that Upanishad says will be true. Everything that Patanjali Yoga Sutra says will be proved true in the coming of time. With that, I'd like to thank everybody. Pranam. Namaskar.